start off with the Monday night football game in Kansas City last night as the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Las Vegas Raiders 30-29 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Andy Reid now is 43-13 versus AFC West teams. And Travis Kelce set a Monday Night Football and Chiefs tight end single game record with 4 touchdown receptions. It was Patrick Mahomes' second career 17-point comeback for the Raiders. Derek Carr probably had his best game of the season. He went 19 of 30. He had 241 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Devontae Adams had a sensational night. He had 3 receptions, 124 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. And for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, he went 29 of 43. He threw for 292 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, 7 receptions. 4 of those 7 receptions were touchdown catches by Travis Kelce. He had 25 receiving yards for the night. So, as we begin the show tonight, talking about Monday Night Football and the matchup on Monday Night Football, everybody watched the game last night. It was a high-scoring affair in Kansas City. I thought the Las Vegas Raiders did an outstanding job in the beginning stages of this game. They got out to a 17-point lead in this game. And I thought Josh Jacobs, their running back, he led the way for the Las Vegas Raiders in this game in the early stages. For the game, Jacobs had 21 carries, 154 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. And I thought the Raiders brought the intensity to this football game. And I thought them getting out to a 17-point lead was indicative of them coming into this matchup being 1-3 on the season. They were desperate. They played like the more desperate football team. And I thought that the Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, as the night went along, they got into a rhythm. But Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels, they came out and they played with confidence. And I thought offensively, the Raiders were sensational in the first half. I thought also the key was that first on that one drive in the beginning of the game when it was 4th down. I thought Josh McDaniels showed a lot of guts for going for it on 4th down, and Derek Carr found Devontae Adams for a 58-yard touchdown catch, and I thought that got the Raiders into rhythm offensively, and it was the start of a great first half for the Raiders because after that, Josh Jacobs, he had a touchdown in the beginning stages of the second quarter, and they added on a field goal. So they were up 13-0 at one point in this game, not 17-0, 13-0 at one point. And I thought the Chiefs had to play catch-up. But what makes Patrick Mahomes so great is his ability to overcome early deficits. Over the last 4 years, Patrick Mahomes is 11-5 when he falls behind by double digits in games. And I thought this was another stat that was interesting when you look at Patrick Mahomes. This is his record when trailing by 10 points. This is active quarterbacks, including the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes is 12-9 when he trails by 10 or more points. That's better than Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts, and Lamar Jackson. So for whatever reason, when the Chiefs are down on the scoreboard, we get the best out of Patrick Mahomes. And I thought Patrick Mahomes was sensational in this game. Coming into this game, I said that Patrick Mahomes is my early selection for NFL MVP after his great performance that he put on in Week 4 in Tampa Bay. I thought he was great in that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers have the best defense in the NFL. And in this matchup, despite being down 13-0 in the early stages of this game, you saw Patrick Mahomes remain calm, remain patient, and took exactly what that Raiders defense gave him. And I thought the Chiefs offense methodically marched down the field, and they were able to score touchdowns, especially in the second half. In the second half, the Chiefs outscored the Raiders 20-9, and I thought it was a tale of two halves. I thought the Raiders controlled the game in the first half, and I thought the Chiefs controlled the game in the second half. But the key moment in the game for me came at the end of the second quarter and at the beginning of the third quarter. At the end of the second quarter, after the Raiders kicked the field goal, that was the drive I believe when Chris Jones had almost recovered a fumble off of Derek Carr on a potential sack, and the Raiders had kicked the field goal, and the Chiefs they kicked the field goal. It was a 60-yard field goal by Wright. That's the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's kicking right now for them. He's replacing their other kicker, who I can't think of his name, but he's replacing him right now. But Wright kicked a 60-yard field goal. So that cut the Raiders' lead to 10 points. So at that moment, the Chiefs got the football back out of the half, and they marched right down the field, and Travis Kelce had a touchdown reception from Patrick Mahomes. So I thought the Chiefs were able to double up and score a quick 10 points before the half and immediately after halftime. I thought that was what got them back into the game, because before that field goal, the Raiders, they were up 20-7. And that last possession of the first half by the Chiefs got them into a rhythm, and they carried that over into the second half. And on the first possession, the Chiefs scored a touchdown, and it's 20-17. And I looked at the game, and I'm thinking, like, as great as the Raiders have played, we are here in the third quarter, and it's a three-point ball game. Three-point ball game. The Raiders have been the more dominant team. They've been the better team for 2.5 quarters, and here we are at the start of the third quarter after the opening drive by the Chiefs to open the half. Here we are. It's 20-17. So I thought, again, the Chiefs, they stayed committed to Patrick Mahomes and him being patient throughout the game. And I thought that was the key for them to be able to come away with the win. Now, there were a couple plays in this game that decided the outcome. The first play I want to talk about is what happened on the drive when the Chiefs scored their last touchdown of the game. It came when the Chiefs, they were going for a field goal. So it's 24-23. The Raiders defense has stopped the Chiefs offense. Chiefs are lining up for a field goal, and for whatever reason, the Raiders, they held on this particular play, and the Chiefs got a fresh pair of downs. I thought that was the biggest turning point in this game, honestly, because if the Chiefs kick the field goal, they go up 27-23, so the touchdown that the Raiders got on the ensuing possession, the Raiders would have had the lead. But because they gave the Chiefs a fresh pair of downs, Patrick Mahomes got another opportunity, and he connected with Travis Kelce for another touchdown. And instead of the Raiders only being down 4, at that point they were down by 7, because the Chiefs, for whatever reason, Andy Reid decided to go for 2. It was 30-23. He decided to go for 2 so he could put the game out of reach for the Raiders and make it a 9-point game instead of being an 8-point game. So I thought that penalty on the Raiders on the field goal attempt was key. I thought it was key because I thought it changed the entire momentum. I'm like, what? Like, this guy, I'm trying to find this dude's name. It looks like his name is Townsend. I'm sorry. His name hard to pronounce. Connors, defensive holding, 5-yard penalty. It was 4th and 14 at the Raiders' 18-yard line. So if you hold the Chiefs to 3 points there, the score is 27-23. I thought that was a key pivotal moment in the game. And then the other moment in the game where I thought the Raiders lost the game was when the Raiders scored a touchdown, and it's about over 4 minutes left in the game. They score a touchdown. It's 29-30, and they decided to go for two. I thought that was a bad decision by Josh McDaniels. The reason why I thought that was a bad decision was because if you convert the two-point conversion, you still got to stop Patrick Mahomes. Even if you convert the two-point conversion, you got to stop Patrick Mahomes. Because if the Chiefs get in field goal range, the Chiefs would have won the game 33-31. I didn't understand why Josh McDaniels wanted to go for two in that situation when Patrick Mahomes still had an eternity to get in field goal range. Now, if it was less than a minute left in the game, then I could understand why Josh McDaniels would make the decision to try to go for 2 points there. I can understand it because if you convert the two-point conversion, you leave the Chiefs very little time to get into field goal range. Now, again, this is Patrick Mahomes, and we've witnessed Patrick Mahomes in 13 seconds march the Chiefs right down the field and get into field goal range. It happened last year in the divisional round playoff game against the Buffalo Bills. So I didn't understand why Josh McDaniels decided to go for two with a little over 4 minutes left to go in the game. It made zero sense because now that you're down one, the Chiefs don't have pressure to kick a go-ahead field goal. They're already up one. So Patrick Mahomes can milk the clock when he gets the football back because you failed on the two-point attempt. And, by the way, Josh Jacobs was short on that two-point attempt. I know Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels, they said that they thought that he got into the end zone. No, he was short on that two-point attempt. It made no sense. It made no sense for them to go for the two there. And again, even if you convert the two-point conversion, the score 31-30, your defense still has to stop Patrick Mahomes anyway. Regardless, you have to stop Patrick Mahomes at some point to win this game. So if you tie the game at 30 apiece, your game plan is different when you get the football back if your defense stops the Chiefs. Remember the last possession for the Raiders, they were down 30-29, so they had to try to get into field goal range to try to kick a potential game-winning field goal, but it would have been less pressure on the Raiders if the game was tied compared to them being down 1 point. It made no sense. My guy, I love your grind with the commentary. What's up, bro? How you doing? But I didn't like that decision by Josh McDaniels to go for 2 points after the Raiders had scored a touchdown with over 4 minutes left to go in the game. It was Derek Carr's best throw of the game, honestly. It was 3rd and 6 at the Chiefs' 48. Derek Carr had a sweet pass that he threw to Devontae Adams, 48-yard touchdown catch by Devontae Adams. And so I thought he honestly threw the best dime of the evening on that particular play, talking about Derek Carr. And then also on the last possession by the Las Vegas Raiders, I thought Devontae caught that pass up the sideline, but as I continued to watch the replay, he did bobble the football before he got both of his feet down, so it wasn't a catch. But I don't understand on that last play on 4th down, I don't understand how Hunter Renfrow and Devontae Adams bumped into each other. I watched the play, and I'm thinking there has to be a pass interference on this particular play. And I looked at the refs, and they looked at each other, and they like, nothing there. And I looked at the replay, and I look at Hunter Renfrow and Devontae Adams. They both bumped into each other, and it completely ruined the play. Ruined the play. Like typical Raiders fashion to lose the game like that. I don't understand how your top 2 receivers on the critical play of the game, money time, bump into each other on a route. Made no sense. So I thought that the Raiders had multiple opportunities to win this game. They had a 13-point lead in this game. They had an opportunity to kick a go-ahead PAT, tie the game up at 30, give yourself a chance. You never know. Maybe you can stop Patrick Mahomes and that Kansas City Chiefs high-powered offense. But to take the game out of your defense's hands and just go for two, I didn't like Josh McDaniels' decision-making there. I didn't like it. Again, even if you can convert the two-point conversion, Mahomes still got 4 minutes to get into field goal range. So it made no sense.